Hello everybody and welcome back to Group Double. Try and keep up the energy through this, but I've been on the mental struggle bus, so to speak, so naturally the perfect thing I need for my mental health is to watch Watase get recruited by terrorists who may actually have a point.
エンパシーに至っては利用価値は計り知れない。産業、政治、軍事といったあらゆる分野での諜報活動にね。
So I'm gonna have to try and put my real world thoughts aside to try and understand the mindset of terrorists. Living in a world where the current terrorists aren't going to see any sort of serious punishment. Apparently, they're getting organic meals in jail. Fucking scumbags. God forbid. I'm a little terrorist traitor, but I need my organic hot dogs in prison. Fuck them. Fuck that guy. Fuck all of them. I'm getting digressing. Okay, what the fuck are we talking about? Japan's researching him. Japan is researching BC. And they covered up the Great Fire, the Great Arson of Rokame City, as a means to keep researching BC. Right. I wouldn't put it past. Wouldn't put it past him.
6名死同時多発火災の際の死者は118名。その被害者遺族たちは手厚く保護され、生活、進学、就労まで便宜を図られた。住居は公営住宅が与えられ、多くの者は君と同じく公務員となった。
Right, so the reparations are just another convenient cover-up, so no one asks too many questions.
しかし、奇妙に思ったことはないか。なぜ単なる地方自治体がそれほどまでに被害者遺族に気を使うのか。
Didn't we literally describe a bill that, specifically intended to, yeah, there's literally laws that do it, that give aid.
その目的は被害者遺族を死の膝元に置き、方法を監視することだ。バカな。
That sounds like a convenient twist.
信じられない。ああ、そうだ。では、我々が入手した資料を送る。それを見て、僕の言葉が正しいかどうか判断してくれたまえ。
An email with an attachment was sent to the PDA right after the man said that. Perfect timing. Watase opened the email and checked the contents of the file. There were various documents that supported the man's claims. Okay. A photo of LABO's interior. It showed that LABO was no nuclear power research center. A photo of an email sent from LABO to the PRC. This email proved that a BC insulator that LABO had developed was publicly announced as something from the PRC. Okay. Subject A's data. A lot of the data in this one had been deleted, but what remained did confirm that LABO had indeed confined a communicator called that. Okay. All sorts of other documents were there, each one supporting the idea that what the man had said was true. So when he finished reading all of it, Watase muttered in a stunned voice.
本当なのかあんた
wonder what he's going to answer.
本当だ。信じがたいだろうし、信じたくもないだろう。だが改めて考えてみたまえ。この町の異常さを。情報統制や人民監視が平然と行われているじゃない。
This is correct.
こんな町では
Let's be clear.
信じられないことも起こりうる。
Watase was taken aback by those words. The city had grown to do all sorts of things that would normally be considered a violation of human rights on the supposed grounds that Rokame City was a government-designated top-secret city. To setting up surveillance cameras all over the city. City gates that controlled the coming and going of townspeople. The citizen database that only certain people were allowed to access. Townspeople had been opposed to the creation of every single one of them. Oh, we have a citizen database that only certain people are allowed to access. It's called the DMV. Townspeople had been opposed to the creation of every single one of them. Their complaints eventually died down, and the security cameras and so on were implemented little by little. Before they knew it, all those things had become like air to the townspeople. No, the townspeople had simply gotten used to those abnormalities. Watase felt chills run through him when it hit him just how strange the whole thing was. So it wasn't directly related to them. No one had thought about it seriously. Thus, all sorts of things that couldn't be undone had gone forward without him even noticing it.
じゃあ何か俺の家族は六名士と超神剣が作り上げた怪物のせいで死んで、なのに当の六名士は一切責任を取らず罪を隠し、そして俺は何も知らないままその六名士に金もらって今日までぬくぬく暮らしてたってわけか。
そう君は家族の仇である六名士に育てられ、六名士の公務員として働いているのだ。
Watase let out a wordless scream. His blood boiled and a deep red filled his vision.
ふざけるな！被験体 A はどうなったんだ？奴はラボの中で今も生きてるのか？
Whoops.
何？
Oh, alright then, that problem solved.
原因の一翼を担う A はラボ内で人体実験に使われ、そして幽閉をわずか1年で死亡した。おそらく無残な死に方をしたのだろう。A も所詮は六名士による悪事の被害者。
Okay. Thank you for acknowledging that. A sense of emptiness filled Watase's body. He immediately lost the target of his hatred. He switched over to a new one, Rokame City.
その後、六名士はどうしたんだ？
I'm gonna have to accept that the terrorists want to punish Rokame City for its crimes.
A が知り、
Gonna have to accept
貴
that.
重な被験体を失ったラボはそれからどうしてるんだ？
Fight the cognitive dissonance with reality.
新たな被験体を拉致しては BC の研究を続けている。
This is true. A floral scent filled the air yet again at that moment. Hold up. That's the second time that happened.
この町に住むコミュニケーターたち。その中で特に優れた能力を持つ者はラボに幽閉され、被験体にされるのさ。
That's the second time that happened. Hold up. Okay, now you got my attention, game.
問題は A が強力なコミュニケーターであると同時に最悪の犯罪者だったということだ。
The man said that a floral scent drifted through the air from somewhere. The screen on the PDA then changed.
これは
Oh! I gave the game shit for making this lady just a Sanemiya face. But, oh shit. If that floral scent is a signifier that something's being changed in reconstructing Watase's memories, then perhaps someone just substituted Salyu's picture. or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Also, modern witch hunt. Examiner language. Young building, beautiful woman.
2014年2月 A 強力な能力を持つ A はそして A は自分を疎む者を皆殺しにするため街に火を放った
Doesn't this feel like it contradicts with that headline? Modern witch hunt. Fire. Religious. Translate that properly. Okay, maybe I'm missing something here, but it's as near as I can tell from piecing it together. It says, modern witch hunt, burnt religious groups respond. Which doesn't kind of really mean anything, but I feel like we're talking about maybe I'm reading too much into that. Feels like we're trying to make Watase believe that she was in fact a victim, instead of the way that this guy is portraying her. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's happened earlier in this flashback, but I didn't really feel like going back overly far beyond this. So I only found that one instance. If true, you have my attention, game. I am in. I am sold. This is just what I need to get my mind off of reality for a bit. And to pull myself back to taking a position, make it be clear I do not want to support the terrorists, even if they have a point. Even though they have a point that the government needs to be held accountable for their crimes. I want to live in a world where ostensibly terrorists are held accountable for their crimes and punished, and we are able to hold the government accountable for their crimes. I want to live in that world. I really do. We're not going to get there anytime soon, but that's what I want to live in. And that's the side I'm going to take in this, which is ostensibly Natsuhiko's side.
そして A のような怪物がまた一人と増えている。
何のためにそんなことを
I still hold that to the fact that Rokume City need to be held accountable for what they've done to these kids, and that the only reason the Great Arson happened is because they aggressively mistreated Subject A in their research.
目的の一つは当然ながら BC の研究のためだ。
Which is why they built LABO as such an insular facility to keep people in, because they don't want any undirected shit leaking out and causing chaos. Like it did in the Great Arson. This is why there's no denying that what this guy is saying is true.
そしてもう一つは一種の生物兵器を作るためさ。
生物兵器だと
If a subject is making everyone go mad in LABO is as bad as they would appear to be, then this could also perhaps be true.
A の事例は単なる事故だが、別の視点から見ると怪物化したコミュニケーターは面白い使い方ができる。例えば敵国の首都に怪物化したコミュニケーターを一人で送りするとどうなると思う？
その年の住人は悪意を増幅され、治安は悪化し、町は荒廃する。
そう、かつて六名市で起きたことを任意に起こせるようになる。数日もそのまま放置しておけば、町中で放火や犯罪行為が蔓延し、犯罪者は跋扈し、治安は回復不能になる。だが、攻撃された側は攻撃を受けたことにも気づかない。何しろこの生物兵器の肝は人の心を荒廃させるってところにあるからね。
They are human
国
beings.
土にはダメージを
You
与
know.
えず、国民にのみダメージを与える。まさに新時代の兵器さ。
I'm on the side of the human beings in this
しかし
case.
6名士はたかだか地方自治体じゃないか。なんでそんな真似を。
I'm sure they have ties to the government as a whole.
国名士と懇意にしているとある外資系企業があって
Oh, great.
表向きは製薬会社だが、その内実は武器商社。いわゆる死の商人だ。
Really?
大方そこから依頼を受け、そんなまがまがしい研究を行っているのだ。だが誰もそのことに気づかない。語る者も暴く者もいない。真実は闇から闇に消え、隠蔽は永遠に続く。
そうか。6名士は渡るたちの敵をまた作ろうとしてるのか。
Flames of rage burned up within Watase. He sealed those pitch-black flames deep inside within his chest and continued.
なんだ。俺にこんなことを知らせてどうするってんだ。俺に何をさせたいんだ。
逆に聞こう。君はどうしたいのかね。笠崎渡せ。君の心に聞こう。真実を知った今、偽りの安寧の中に戻れるか。聞かせてくれ。君の本当の気持ちを。
Watase's heart pounded loudly at that request. Can I keep on living the same carefree life now that I know the truth? Rokume City government had killed his sister and parents, twisted his life. On top of that all of that, they'd hidden the truth and forced him to live an unknowing lie for 15 years. Watase had pushed his hatred of the culprit of the incident into the deepest corners of his heart by following his sister's dream. The truth was, there was a certain desire he'd secretly held all these years.
俺は犯人を渡ると同じ目に合わせてやりたかった。
渡るとは確か君のお姉さんだったね。
あいつは本当にいいやつだったんだ。弱っちいけど一生懸命でバカだけど優しくて。
Tears poured out of Watase's eyes when he said that. Watase loved Wataru. He hated the one who had taken her away from him forever from the bottom of his heart. Everything about the culprit, including her very existence, had been concealed by the Rokume City government. Possible he would have very much liked to tear A limb for limb, but that was no longer an option. And that left the Rokume City government as the only target for Watase's hatred and anger.
なあ、復讐を望むのは恥ずべきことか。
No, because that's quite convenient for us that you want revenge.
人の命を救う仕事をしている俺がそんなことを望んでもいいのか。俺は六名士の連中を憎んでもいいのか。
もちろんだ。
Man's answer was clear and blunt.
家族の敵を憎む。それは人間として自然なことだ。
That's what I wanted all along, was for you to...
そしてその気持ちがあるのであれば、君は僕らの同志になりうる。
Let's be clear, a lot of what he's saying about the government is true, but he's also using a lot of inflammatory words for the express purpose of recruiting Watase, and it's worked. Watase heard footsteps coming from behind at that moment. Watase turned around in surprise. Only to see a man standing there. Hi, Yukita! Judging from the fact that he was holding a PDA, he had likely been the one talking to Watase just now.
あんたは僕だ。僕はラボの研究員だ。
The man put his PDA away and answered.
だが君と同じくラボと六名士を憎むものさ。
Well, that answers that question. Whistleblower. A term passed through Watase's head. He sent him pictures of LABO and data about the test subject just minutes ago. Only someone on the inside could have attained those things.
だが同志になりうるって、いや、僕らっていうのはどういう意味だ。僕はね、ラボの現役研究員であると同時にある団体に所属しているんです。 ある団体だと。
15年前の同時多発火災の際、逮捕された過激派団体で、幽閉されたコミュニケーター A の代わりに犯人の汚名を着せられたね。
Watase was astonished.
まさかあんたらテロリストか。
テロリストね。確かに権力に立ち向かう者というのはしばしばそう呼ばれるな。
言葉を飾るな。お前らのやることは所詮は破壊活動だろう。超真剣に爆弾でも仕掛けるのか。そんなのは俺たちの仕事が増えるだけで。
待て、僕も好き好んで過激派団体などに所属しているわけではない。
Ah, yes.
六名士に対抗するためには他に頼れる組織が存在しないというだけだ。
何？そんなの警察とかいくらでも。
警察はダメだ。これほどの大規模な隠蔽が行われている以上、警察も六名士の息がかかっていると考えた方がいい。
Ah, there's a dissonance.
情報規制が行われているのを見るに、マスコミも全く当てにならん。では個人で立ち向かう。不可能だ。かつてそれを試みた者もいたが、事故に見せかけて殺された。
Again, the reason why I've been so uppity past two videos about this plotline, because everything that is happening in this game is everything that certain groups think is happening in reality.
それでもなお僕は真実を明るみに出したい。
The media is controlling the narrative and hiding the fact that Trump won by a landslide when he ostensibly did not. And we're the fucking deluded ones.
この町の全てを敵に回してでも、ラボの悪事を白日のもとにさらしたいんだ。
なぜそこまで。
君にそうする動機があるように、僕にも戦う理由があるのさ。
Really?
もう分かったろ。なぜ僕が君にこんな話をしたか。僕らは今、六名士とラボに痛烈な打撃を加える計画を練っている。その計画を遂行するにあたって、君の力が欲しいんだ。
俺の力だと。
もちろん断るのは自由だ。そして今聞いた話を警察にでも言えば、僕はテロリストとして逮捕されるだろう。もっとも警察の前にラボの連中に捕まり殺されるかもしれんがね。君に顔を見せ素性をも晒したことは僕にとっても賭けだったんだよ。だが僕は君が同志になってくれると信じたい。先ほど君が語った亡きお姉さんに向けた言葉が本当だと信じたいんだ。
Funny how Ukita is pretty consistently scapegoating Watase in the after round, huh? Then again, I suppose we have to raise the question of, is it really Ukita doing that, or is it again Mystery BC coming from deep down below doing that? I don't know. And then looked Watase dead in the eye.
今なら君は後戻りできる。すべて忘れて元の生活に戻ることができる。
Was Ukita backstabbing Watase? No honor among terrorists? Or was it outside influence? In that instance, it's a little disappointing that that fact exists.
だが、もし僕らと共に六名士と戦う気持ちがあるの
I need to stop talking and get through this.
に同志になってくれ。
I'm probably only making things worse for you by injecting my opinion on reality when you come here to escape it. So I'm sorry. Watase looked the man back in the eye. For a long silence, he finally answered.
あんたらの組織の名は。
Q。この欺瞞に満ちた世界に厳然たる問いを突きつけるものだ。
Natsuhiko was shocked about the memory he'd just seen. I see. That's why Watase hates communicators so much. Now I know that it was Mr. Ukita who led Watase down the path of evil. He'd had his suspicions for a while, but now he knew for sure that Ukita was also a terrorist. Yeah, Ukita did seem to warn us that things would start to change. Down the line. He was the one who tipped us off that things were about to change at the very beginning. But Mr. Ukita and Watase are making a grave misunderstanding. Yuri was a test subject, but she never turned into a monster. Communicator A may indeed have been a dangerous being. LABO as it is now isn't creating any monsters. Of course, there's no way in hell that absurd story about them creating biological weapons is true either. That meant Watase's descent into terrorism was most likely all based on a misunderstanding. The more of Watase's memories he saw, the stronger the pain in Natsuhiko's heart grew. Oh, I hope. There is still the chance that that is all fucking true, and I'm gonna be a little bit sad if that is true, but I really hope that they're still playing off the fact that really the most likely outcome is that it's Natsuhiko who doesn't have the full picture. And we'll get that from Ukita, probably. But most likely outcome. Yeah, that's the most likely outcome. But I do hope, I'm gonna hold out hope that we're gonna get the impression that there was manipulation at hand to recruit Watase. He kept on viewing those memories to learn the truth. The next memory to appear was an event that took place exactly 1 month later. The name of the man who had told Watase the truth at the ruins of the hospital was Keiji Ukita. On that day he left Watase with the words, if you want to be one of our comrades, then feel free to contact me at any time. Watase racked his mind over what to do all throughout the next month. Then finally contacted Ukita. They secretly met at the same place as last time, the ruins of the hospital. Watase arrived there shortly after leaving work. Before long, Ukita also showed up with a tense look on his face.
久しぶりだね、笠崎さん。僕らの同志になることを決意してくれたのかな。
いや、その前に一つ聞きたいことがある。
なんだね。
あんたがラボを裏切る理由は？納得できる理由もないのに、自分が所属している組織を裏切るような人間は信用できない。
Bitter look rose to Ukita's face when he heard that question.
ラボのやり口に嫌気がさしただけさ。
A floral scent wafted through the air when Ukita said that.
コミュニケーターを拉致し、人体実験をやっているのはあんたらなんだよ。
Another manipulation.
いや、それはごく一部の職員、シニアフェローと呼ばれる上級研究員だけだ。僕ら一般研究員はラボが BC の研究施設だと知っていても、被験体の存在については知らされていない。だが僕はふとした拍子にそれを知ってしまってね。僕の前にもそれを知ってしまった者がいたらしいが、その人物を殺された。ラボは僕ら一般研究員の命など何とも思っていないのさ。だったらやられる前にやってやろうってことだ。
自分の身を守るためにか。
君の理由よりはだいぶ弱いとは思うが、納得いったかい。
Yeah. Watase didn't think Ukita's reason was pathetic at all. It was only natural to want to save yourself when your own life was at risk. No one could blame him. Watase held his hand out to Ukita.
信用しよう。俺も及ばずながらあんたに協力する。
Like, I legitimately wonder if we're filtering out some of the more extreme shit. The darker shit that originally got Watase into this. And that's what the static cuts are and the floral scent stuff is. Meant to kind of lessen the impact of Watase's hatred.
感謝の極みだ。
Kita then gave Watase a firm handshake. His hand was as thin as a dead tree, but his palm was filled with heat. From that day onward, Watase and Ukita began making preparations to put their terrorist plot into action. They held their secret meetings to formulate said plot in Watase's apartment. Before the meeting, Watase followed Ukita's instructions and checked the apartment to make sure it wasn't bugged anywhere. He was horrified to discover that there were indeed several bugs in his apartment, but he destroyed all of them. Well, there's that. He was a bit cautious after that, but no new bugs were planted. It appeared that he had probably long since ceased to be an observation target for Ukume City.
さて、浮田さん、まずは聞かせてもらおうか。あんたらの計画とやらの内容とその目的を。
それについてはすでにこちらである程度考えてある。
Faint floral scent filled the air when Watase said that.
まず僕らの最終目的は、被験体の拉致だ。
何？怪物を拉致してどうしようって言うんだ。
前にも話したが、怪物化したコミュニケーターは生物兵器になりうるんだ。その危険性を世に知らしめれば、ラボの蛮行は終わる。
なるほど、道理だ。六名士が今まで隠蔽してきたことも芋づる式に追求されるだろうしな。
ラボと六名士に打撃を与えることにつながる。
That change instance also makes me think that the original goal was to kill them. Test subjects. But then again, we have that one memory of Watase not killing Yuri.
しかしそうするにしても、ラボの内部にはどうやって侵入するんだ。ラボの警備は原発並みに厳しいだろ。
そこでレスキュー隊である君の出番というわけだ。ラボの警備には一つだけ穴があるのさ。自動化された防災システム。これが最大の死角なんだよ。
防災システム？
ああ、ラボ内で火災などが起きれば自動的に君たちシリウスに通報が入るだろう。すると君たちは警備員に呼び止められることなくラボ内に突入できるじゃないか。
そうか。そして火災の混乱に乗じ、俺たちが被験体とやらを連れ出せばいいってわけか。
I finally understood why Ukita had recruited him.
だがこれはあくまで計画の入り口だ。ラボの警備システムは二重三重に張り巡らされていて、計画遂行のためには他にも様々な障害がある。それについて順に説明していこ
う。Ukita took out his PDA. A map was on its screen.
これはラボ内の地図だ。ラボの建設を行った業者から旧の同志が盗んできたものだよ。で、ここを見てくれ。被験体が幽閉されているのはラボの地下深くだ。
地下2階ってところか。
I'd heard that LABO had 2 surface floors and 2 basement floors, so he assumed that they'd be on the lowest floor.
違う。もっと深くだ。地下フロア中央にある N エリア。そこに実はもう一つ下りのエレベーターがあるのさ。
Aha!
何？地下3階が存在するのか。
そうだ。大深度地下フロア、通称ゼロエリア。
Well, I'll be damned.
そこに2名の被験体が囚われているんだ。日の光も差さない場所にね。
被験体は2名か。名前や年齢、性別はわかるのか。
わからん。ただ僕が調べたところ、それぞれ被験体 N と被験体 Y2 と呼ばれているということだけが分かった。
N and Y2。
Y2。Y1 は存在するのか。
いや、被験体 Y は数年前に破棄されたぜ。
Huh. That feels like a factoid to remember.
おそらく被験体 A と同じくラボ内で死亡したのだ。
Who could the first Y have been that Yuri replaced? Natsuhiko was shocked to hear what they were saying. There's a third basement floor known as Area 0. It means there's another floor under LABO. I wonder where I was lying for all those hours. According to what he'd heard, the ones imprisoned down there were Subject N and Subject Y2. He didn't know which one referred to Yuri and which one referred to the other girl. Well, Yuri has one of those letters in her name. That means what Yuri said was true. There had also been a Subject Y, but they'd already died, apparently. They also died from human experimentation? Nothing like that ever happened to Yuri. Like I said, that was, Yoko's influence. Wait, hold on. Did that mean that the test subjects were each treated differently? There was still too much Natsuhiko didn't know. It's highly possible that the other subjects were treated like shit. Based on Subject A's reaction, when she escaped, which was likely abject terror, fear, and the like, that radiated to everyone in the city. Yeah, the more I run through that scenario, the more I'm more confident that that's the truth of Subject A. She was just scared out of her mind. Her fears, her pain, her nightmares leaked out into the city. That's why Watase had that nightmare of a strange village burning. And that nightmare, which probably spread to a bunch of people, probably also contained emotions that went haywire and caused people to set the place on everything on fire. It's the one place I'm still a little shaky, but it works.
話を戻そう。助けるべき被験体たちはゼロエリアにいるわけだが。
This feels like a direct manipulation. Going from killing to saving, since they did a lot of killing in LABO. Let's not forget.
そこに降りるためには幹部クラスの研究員のセキュリティカードが2枚必要だ。さらに網膜の認証も必要らしい。
Oh.
ずいぶんセキュリティが厳しいんだな。
ああ。さらに被験体をゼロエリアから連れ出すことができても N エリアから出た時点で被験体脱走阻止コードケース N が発令される。
ケース N？
施設内に無数にあるセキュリティゲートが全て閉鎖ロックされるのさ。
A case N happened 9 years ago.
さらに地下と地上をつなぐ部分に破壊不可能な隔壁がおり、絶対に誰も外に出ることができなくなる。
Shit, a case N happened 9 years ago. So the case N in the present day is probably Yuri.
しかもケース N が発令されたら警備員も職員も異変を察知する。施設内に残った職員は逃げた被験体を必死で探すだろうし、施設外の警備員は施設外を固め脱出を阻止するだろう。
そいつは難物だ。じゃあケース N の発令自体を阻止することはできないのか。
不可能だ。ケース N の発令システムはラボ内を統括管理するスパコンブレインセルによって行われるのだが、このスパコンは3つの制御システムが相互に機能を補完している。その全てを同時にダウンさせるのは無理だよ。
The truth of what a case N is really dire and depressing. And God. And that should only highlight more how fucked up what LABO's doing is.
念入りなことだな。
To be clear.
ああ、最も正規の手続きを行えば第5エリアまでは連れ出すことができるらしいんだ
が。第5エリア？なぜそこだけは大丈夫なんだ？
As all the brain scan equipment things.
第5エリアには被験体の検査や各種実験を行う部屋があるのさ。故にそこだけは例外的に被験体の出入りが可能なんだが、しかし仮に第5エリアまで連れ出してもエレベーターや非常階段に近づけばやはりケース N は発令されるらしい。
つまり俺たちがラボに入ることができても被験体と共に外に出るのは不可能だってことか。
ああ、だがそれでも僕らはやらなければならない。不可能を可能にしなければならない。
Even if they were out to kill them, it would not really accomplish any of their goals if they just killed them inside LABO and left. They'd have to get them out. They need the proof to show the world if they want to expose Rokume's city. Hence the case in. Watase nodded. There were 3 major problems with the plan. First one was finding a way to get past the security card and retinal scan checks to get down to Area 0. The second one was finding a way to get the test subjects out of there without being discovered by the staff still in the facility. Third and final one was finding a way to escape the facility with the test subjects even after a case N had been declared.
では一つ目の問題、ゼロエリアに降りる方法だな。これは計画実行当日に幹部研究員を気絶させるなりして連れて行き、網膜認証を行うしかないだろう。そうすればカードも手に入る。正規の手続きを装い、ゼロエリアに降りることができるはずだ。
多少胸が痛みはやむを得ない。
Watase has accepted Ukida's proposal.
では次の問題、施設内の警備員の対処法についてだが、これはケース N の発令を逆手に取ることにする。
どういう意味だ？
若干複雑だが聞いてくれ。流れはこんな感じだ。
With that lead-in, Ukida began explaining.
まず、ラボ内には WX 粒子増幅器という機械がある。すると自動的にブレインセルが増幅器の暴走を止める処理を行うのだが、この停止処理には時間がかかる。意図的に暴走させた場合、12時間程度かな。
Oh.
そして WX 粒子増幅器の暴走と同時にケース N が発令された場合、暴走が終了するまではケース N を解除することは不可能になる。閉ざされた隔壁を開けることは絶対に不可能になる。
なんだって？なんで隔壁が開かなくなるんだ？
WX 粒子増幅器というのは、要するに BC の効果を増進する素粒子をまき散らす機械なんだよ。そんなものが暴走している時に被験体が脱走したらどうだろう。 BC を使って外の人間に助けを求めかねえ。下手すれば街中の人間が被験体のテレパシーを受け取る可能性もある。
How dare they seek help?
なるほど。隔壁が開かなくなる理由は分かった。これもまた隠蔽工作の一環か。だが、それがどう警備員の対処法につながるんだ？
それを踏まえた上で我々がすべきことを説明するとだ。まず施設内で火災を起こし、職員と警備員を外に避難させる。この時点でだが全ての職員警備員が避難した後、 WX 粒子増幅器を暴走させケース N を発令させれば、施設の中には誰も入れなくなる。
そこまではいいアイディアだ。だが、それじゃ俺たちも外に出られなくなるだろ
う。いや、隔壁が閉鎖されても一つだけ外に脱出できる場所があるんだよ。
何？それはどこだ？
WX 粒子増幅器の冷却水用のパイプさ。
Oh. He had fiddled around with his PDA again after he said that. And he did the screen change to show the WX particle amplifier's manual.
WX 粒子増幅器を冷却するための水は6名湖から取っているんだ。
We know how well this is gonna go.
冷却水用の取水排水パイプは直径1メートル。なんとかパイプ内は高温の水が高速で循環しているが、冷却水のろ過機構を破壊すれば自動的に水流が止まる仕組みになっている。
いや待て、取水パイプに穴を開けたらラボ全体が水没するんじゃないか。
Watase pointed to a part of the diagram and spoke.
この図を見ると取水パイプは6名湖の水位より下に位置している。もし取水パイプに穴を開けてしまったら、水流が止まっていても一気に水が溢れ出してラボは水没しちまうぞ。
そうだから排水パイプに穴を開けるのさ。排水パイプにはパイプ内に巨大なポンプがある。それが通行の邪魔をするわけだが、これを君に破壊してほしいんだ。
He just said that with a broad grin on his face.
破壊だと？どうやって？
まずポンプを破壊するにあたって邪魔なのはパイプ内の水だ。だがこれは水流を止めた上でパイプの下部に穴を開けてしまえば。
そうか、脱水できるの？
そうだろう。
Drainage pipe's exit was above Lake Rokume's water level, meaning that unlike the intake pipe, opening a hole in there would cause much less water to pour out.
で、水を抜いた後、ポンプをどうやって破壊するかだが、ここは君からのアイデアを募りたい。レスキューの特殊装備の中にポンプを破壊できるようなものはないか？
ポンプを破壊できる特殊装備か。
Watase thought the whole thing through, then quickly found an answer.
そうだな。削岩機を使えばいいだろう。
削岩機？
岩盤をぶち破る道具さ。崩れた瓦礫の向こうの人を助ける時とかに使うんだ。これなら火災に乗じて地下に持ち込んでもさほど怪しまれないだろ
うん、良さそうだな。だがそれでポンプを破壊するとしてどのくらい時間がかかりそうだ？
まあぶっ続けで作業してざっと3時間ってところだろうな。だがケース N が発令されたら核壁は12時間ほど閉まりっぱなしになるんだろ。だったら多少時間がかかっても何の問題もない。俺たちは核壁が閉まった後でじっくりポンプを破壊して、そして被験体と一緒に6名湖まで逃げればいい。間抜けなラボの職員たちは建物の外でひたすら核壁が開くのを待つ。そしてもう施設内には誰もいないもぬけの殻ってわけさ。
素晴らしい。完璧な計画だ。
Ukita broke out into a reassured smile. Satisfied, Watase returned Ukita's smile with one of his own.
よし、じゃあこの線で行こう。これから忙しくなるぞ。
ああ、計画の実現のために準備しなきゃいかんことが山ほどある。
そもそも大前提として施設内で火災を起こす方法も考えなきゃならんしな。
そっちは僕が Q のメンバーに連絡して燃焼剤入りの爆弾などを入手してもらおう。
すまねえ、助かるぜ。
So Watase and Ukita began formulating their plan on a grand scale. Ukita contacted other cube members and gave them the outline of the plan. Q gave their answer on the spot. It's a good plan. We approve of it as well. We'll back you up in every way we can. Once they got the answer, Watase and Ukita collaborated with the other cube members located in Rokume City to move forward with the plan. First, they got their answers on how to cause the fire. Prepare 100 incendiary time bombs. Put those up in LABO and make them go off at the same time.
ありがたいことだ。問題は設置する方法についてだ。
難しいな。その辺に爆弾が落ちてたらすぐ騒ぎになるだろう。
では他のものに偽装して持ち込むのはどうだ。一見爆弾だとわからないようなものに。例えばそう、消火器とか。
消火器？
うちの隊はラボの防災指導を行っている。で、2年に一度古くなった消火器を一斉に入れ替える機会があるんだよ。その時に爆弾を仕込んだ消火器と入れ替えれば。
なるほど。あっという間にラボの全域に爆弾を設置できるな。
Okay, there's the bombs.
しかも消火器なら誰かが中身を覗き込んだりする心配もない。偽装にはもってこいだ。
よし、じゃあこれでいこう。次の消火器入れ替えは来年の9月だ。その日を境にラボは消火器の形をした爆弾だらけになるぜ。
That's honestly kind of terrifying. We also received various orders from Q. As for us, we would like you to physically destroy LABO. It's a symbol of Rokume City's wrongdoings. Destroying it, we can let the world know of our resentment. We have prepared a powerful time bomb that will blow LABO sky high. Planted inside the facility. Oh fuck.
強力な時限爆弾とやらを仕掛けるのは簡単だが、巻き込
だが爆破することには大きなメリットもあるぞ。施設全体を吹き飛ばすほどの爆発を起こせば、外で待機しているラボの連中は被験体も僕らも死んだものと思うだろう。
なるほど、追っ手の目を欺けるな。だが一つだけ重要な問題がある。確かゼロエリアに降りるためには幹部研究員2名を気絶させて連れて行かなきゃならないんだよな。この2人はどうしたってケース N 発令後も施設内に残る羽目になる。すると爆発に巻き込まれちまうぞ。
Oh, they're expendable.
そうだったな。
かといって脱出時に連れて行くのはリスクが大きいのでやりたくない。タイトな脱出計画だからな。
よし、じゃあこうしよう。強力な時限爆弾の爆発時刻を核壁が開く1分後にするんだ。そうすればその2名もギリギリ逃げることができる。
核兵器が開く時間を前もって知ることができるのか？
ブレインセルのモニターには核兵器解放予想時刻が表示されるんだ。それを確認し、爆弾の爆破時刻を解放時刻の1分後にセットするんだよ。正直苦肉の策だが。
Okay, on that note, I think we're gonna skip ahead to... we'll cover these. Deep Underground. Concept of underground space usage based on the 2001 Law on Special Measures for the Public Uses of Deep Underground. Deep Underground is largely legally defined in Japan as deeper than 40 meters, a depth usually unused for building basements or otherwise. 10 meters below a building's deepest layer of foundation. The mid-1950s. In the mid-1950s, use of underground space became congested, starting with the construction of underground trains in large cities. The Toei Oedo line, underneath Tokyo, for example, runs an extremely deep depth of 49 meters. The technical limit is said to be 100 meters, but to avoid any potentially chaotic environmental damage, the aforementioned special measures law was enacted. Underground space dampens noise and vibrations, making it relatively safe, but also gives the rise to several technical issues such as ventilation and emergency procedures. In Workbase City, LABO's Area Zero utilizes this deep underground place. Just as its name suggests, Area Zero is a floor that isn't supposed to exist, and thus only a select handful of senior fellows in LABO even know about its existence. The purpose of Area Zero is the isolated containment of the rank S aptitude communicator. As test subjects. In addition to the artificial BC insulators used in the walls and ceilings, surrounding soil acts as a natural insulator as well. Moral of the story, we are deep underground. One more, and we're done. Sorry, went from the struggle bus to the tired bus. We can get through one more without dying, and be done with the video. Okay, Crime Victim Support Laws Part 2. Sets of regulations of local self-governing bodies for the multifaceted support of crime victims, including monetary compensation, livelihood support. The Great Workmate City arson was caused by the N-ification of Subject A. It was publicly announced as arson caused by members of the Anti-BC League. These laws were applied. At the time, the media reported that the city was abundantly compensating bereaved families. But on the other hand, this could also be seen as LABO had the city silence the bereaved families with financial assistance, instead of asking too many questions, which is understandable. Why they would, and the fact that a government trying to keep secrets would be incentivized to, in order to not have this come out. Now the dark side of LABO and the Workmate City government has come to light, so too will this truth in the near future. I am still on the side of Natsuhiko, who is firmly between the terrorists and the horrors of LABO. Don't get me wrong, LABO needs to be stopped. Like, an acceptable ending would be the terrorists winning, and then being apprehended and punished for being terrorists and doing terroristic things. Like killing fuckers down here. Shooting my friends. And other unrepentant things. Which I can't think of right now because I'm running on E. But I think the biggest difference that's in the back of my mind comparing Q's thoughts on communicators and LABO's test subjects to Natsuhiko's, per se. Natsuhiko, who genuinely wants to save them so they can live human lives, while Q, who's just seeing them as bioweapons, not even human. Which is kinda disgusting. And Yeah, it's like the metaphor of de-escalation in nuclear arms races, where, like, you hear all the people who hate Middle East countries saying that we have nukes, we should nuke them before they nuke us. That's the Q stance. We need to stop the communicators before they well, technically, we need to stop the government before they raise communicator bioweapons to annihilate the world. We also need to assault all communicators and blow shit up. I shouldn't go down that road. I shouldn't go down that road. It's just as easily argue that those acts are necessary to get the government to pay attention. But it's really their views on communicators. The source of them notwithstanding, their views on communicators are drastically different from my own. And in the going back to the arms race metaphor for a second, they are the nuke them first before they nuke us crowd. That's cute. Well, I'm more in favor of de-escalation. Teaching them to control their powers, helping them be good people, and just letting them be human, instead of forcing them to be lab rats and potentially subjecting them to really horrible shit. As opposed to just outright killing them for essentially having a part of their brain develop too much. That's their only crime. Consequently, LABO says you need to go to LABO jail and suffer LABO experiments to some horrible degree. If you want... Well, just because your brain developed one part of it abnormally high. Ultimately, both sides are unfair to the communicator. To the freaking human. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, the Senses Sympathy does have the potential to be misused. That's always going to be a problem with letting people go with this ability. They do have the potential to turn into monsters and become nigh unstoppable criminals. But is that enough to justify keeping them imprisoned? I'm on the side of no, that's not enough to justify that. That's the inherent risk of this power. LABO's stance is likely we need to turn them into bioweapons. Q stance is we need to capture them and possibly kill them down the line, and use them to expose the truths of the government. And Natsuhiko's stance is we just want to live our lives. That's whose side I'm on in all of this. I can't side with I can't side with terrorists. Even if this universe's government is doing, even though this universe's government is doing horrible shit that needs to be stopped, I can't side with terrorists. That's just... Again, there's a moral standing in whether you consider them terrorists or whether they're doing the right thing. They are actively causing destruction and inciting terror in the population to an ultimately meaningful end, but they are terrorists. No question there. God, this is getting into really tricky territory now. Time to abort. Get out while you still can. Get out. Reverse course. Reverse course. Full speed ahead. Slam that motherfucking eject button. I'm sorry. Putting you through this. This being my opinion, it's not this game. Things are getting spicy, even if real-world experiences in America are getting in the way of that, distorting the intended message.